Hey, this is Mark at Harmonics, and today we're going to be looking at the 7 main reasons people stop themselves from learning to play the guitar. Let's go. I've been teaching for over 15 years and I've taught hundreds of people, and the 7 main reasons that I have personally heard that people stop themselves from learning to play the guitar, and this is whether they've still never started it because of one of these 7 reasons, or they started learning it and they told me later that what put them off for maybe years was one of these 7 reasons. So the first one is they think they're too old. So, can you be too old to learn to play the guitar? There is a little bit of truth to it. However, the majority of people who want to learn to play the guitar are maybe not at that stage. In fact, most of them will not be. Okay, so 9 times out of 10, the age thing, unless you are actually physically disabled, is actually just a limiting belief, and you're just holding yourself back. Now, a good example of this would be some of the most famous guitar players in the world, like Brian May from Queen, Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits, and Eric Clapton. And the reason I'm naming these guys is because they're all in their 70s and they can still play as good as the best of them. Now, you may argue, well, they've had, 50, 60 years to get that good. Well, a lot of these guys got good very, very quickly. So the only reason you know of them is because they got famous when they were younger, which means they didn't have years and years and years to learn to get good. They started playing, they were dedicated, and they got good at a reasonable pace, and then they got discovered. And if you look at Queen, I think Queen got discovered, sort of early 70s, something like that. Eric Clapton's been playing, I think he was 15 and he started taking it seriously, and he got noticed for his ability within 1 year, around about the age of 16. I know because I did a bit of research on Eric Clapton recently. And when he got into Cream, I think he was around 21 in the mid 60s. So yeah, he hadn't been playing that long before he was starting to get seriously noticed around the world. So that makes you wonder, how long does it really take to be good? And that's something we can cover in the next topic. So my answer to this limiting belief, can you be too old? 95% of the time, you can never be too old to start learning the guitar. Number 2, I don't have enough time. Now, this is an interesting one, and I can understand why people would get quite triggered by the idea of time investment with the guitar. You may have a full-time job, children, lots of other activities outside of work, and you may find it difficult, if not impossible sometimes, to find time for yourself, let alone starting time investment in an instrument, which takes, a significant amount of time to get good at, like the guitar, but based on who you are and how you're learning. My advice to you, if this is what is holding you back, is to realize that if you are a complete beginner and you are highly motivated to learn how to play the guitar, you do not need more than 20 minutes a day. I have a philosophy that I don't know if I invented it, but it's something that I came up with myself, called the TEK philosophy, or TEK. So you have time, effort, and knowledge. So, for example, if you have all the knowledge in the world and you put in all the effort, but you don't have enough time, you're not going to get anywhere. If you have all the time in the world and loads of knowledge, but you never bother, i.e. you never put in any effort, you're not going to get anywhere. You could have all the time in the world, put in all the effort, but you really don't know how or what you're doing, the knowledge, you're never going to get anywhere. So if you're motivated and you have a good tutor, or you really know where to go to get information to help you learn how to play the guitar, you just need to find the T in the TEK formula, the time. And I'm telling you, as a professional teacher and guitar player for over 15 years, as a brand new beginner, you don't need any more than 20 minutes a day. So ask yourself, can you, in your hectic schedule, find or free up, create 20 minutes per day to help yourself? If you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to do it. People do what they want to do. Number 3, my hands are too small. This is a favorite of mine because you guys don't know me. I'm not a particularly tall guy and I do not have very big hands. I don't know how big they look on the camera, but I really do not have very big hands. In fact, I think I taught an 11-year-old girl once that had almost the same size as hands as me. It's the truth. And some of my students would laugh right now because I know that they know that I know that they know they've got small hands too. And this is one of the things that holds them back. But again, like the too old excuse, it is an excuse. It's a limiting belief. And the reason for it is because regardless of how big or how big your hands are or how long your fingers are, stretching comes from inside the hand and up the tendons in the arm. It doesn't really come necessarily from the fingers themselves. So saying that you can't stretch your fingers because you have small fingers is like saying that only tall people should be able to do the splits, or they should be able to do the splits easily. So if there's any tall people watching this, go and try and do the splits and then come back because it's not as easy as it looks. And nor is stretching your fingers. It takes time. I mean, it's taken me a long time to learn how to stretch, but I can stretch. It's a limiting belief. So if you've got small hands, don't let it hold you back. And at the same time, you may have huge hands with big, thick, sausage-like fingers. I've helped people learn how to cram them into small spaces, to learn to play chords, to learn to fret notes cleanly. So it is just a limiting belief. You may have a little bit more of a problem in the very beginning, but you will find a way. Number 4, I have no rhythm, or I'm not musical. No one in my family's musical. I don't even know why I'm bothering with this. Okay. Some people have a natural sense of rhythm. Okay, they just do. Some people are naturally good at learning and other people aren't. Learning is a skill. So if you can teach yourself how to learn efficiently, you can learn almost anything significantly quickly than someone who doesn't know how to learn. The same thing is with rhythm. Rhythm is something that you develop over time and it can be taught. Regardless of what people say, it can. Some people will naturally learn rhythm faster than others, but rhythm can be taught. Your core tempo inside your body can be calibrated. You can learn to tap on rhythm. You can learn to dance, move your body, gyrate, whatever you want to call it. You can learn to do that over time with effort and training. And that comes in the form of a metronome or something that's perfect, keeping time. Tick, tock, tick, tock. And your body just learns to calibrate to that. A good example of this is if you're in your car and you're listening to something with a steady pulse and you can tap your fingers and bang your feet to it, tap your fingers on your steering wheel to it, you have a sense of rhythm, whether you like it or not, because you are following a beat. You're not going outside of it, and it can be taught. So again, this is a limiting belief. You're not musical. You don't have a sense of rhythm. Maybe compared to other people, you don't, but it can be developed. So don't let that hold you back. Number 5, cost. It's too expensive. Okay. The guitar can be expensive. Once you start buying big signature series guitars or you get the big brand labels, all of which do entry-level guitars, by the way, which I would encourage you to look at. However, some people get really excited about the idea of a Gibson or a Fender, and they go and they spend a lot of money on these guitars because famous guitarists or their heroes have them and they want to be like them, or they think because they use them it must be a good guitar, so they go and buy them. And you can equate it to almost anything pursuit or hobby. You can spend a lot more money than you need to on the instrument, on amplifiers, on pedals, on all these things. Do you need them all? Not really, no. The problem is when people weigh up the opportunity cost of whether or not they should invest or not. So for example, a number of parents will think, well, my child is 10, he goes in and out of interests very, very quickly. He's always distracted with his phone, video games, whatever. So I don't really want to go and invest a lot of money on a guitar because he might change his mind in a couple of weeks. So I'm just going to buy something cheap. And I absolutely understand that. I think anybody would. However, buying a decent quality entry-level electric guitar will give you far more scope to get better on the guitar and take it more seriously and find it more interesting and fun than buying some cheap little wooden thing. that you can throw away and it's disposable. The reason I say that is because a lot of beginners that I've taught over the years, especially children, not so much adults, but the children and the early level teenagers and things like that, 13 to 15, they tend to buy these little kind of Spanish guitars with the nylon strings that are not a big investment. They're maybe 20, 30 quid. You can maybe buy one you can get one, cheap from a charity shop or from Argos or something like that, wherever. The problem with these they do not give you that really a great beginner experience. And the reason for that is because some of the best guitar players in the world end up going back to those small nylon flamenco Spanish style guitars because they are difficult to play. Developing vibrato on a nylon string guitar can be difficult. Learning to bend strings efficiently on a nylon string can be very difficult. And the unfortunate thing is you can pick them up quite cheap if you get a cheap brand. Having said that, you can get cheaper electric guitars. And that will give you an opportunity to learn how to use vibrato. It will give you an opportunity to learn how to bend strings properly. You can plug it into an amplifier so you can start making some noise. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing remains to be seen for beginners. But nevertheless, you can do that. And you will enjoy it more if you're making more noise, believe me. It's the whole point of the guitar is to make some sound, at least, whether it's good or bad. You can hear the dynamics on the string better. You can put overdrive or distortion on the guitar so you can sound like a superstar. You can do a lot more with it. And it's also easier to press the strings. It's easier to play chords and things like that because some acoustic guitars are very, very, very hard to press the strings on and it will hurt your fingers significantly. So ask yourself this: how much do you really want to learn to play it? Is it something you just want to mess around with and see if you like it? If it is, you may want to consider starting yourself off with the best possible chance you've got of giving yourself positive interactions with the instrument in the beginning, because that is what you're going to need. Because the learning curve for the guitar is high, even with a good tutor. You will need to put in the effort, you will need to put in the time, and you will have to have the knowledge. Remember the TEK formula, TEK, time, effort, knowledge. You need those three things. And the thing that's going to make you keep picking up the guitar every day for those 20 minutes that we discussed earlier is motivation. You're going to want as many positive experiences as you can, because doing anything that's worth doing is going to be hard and demoralizing to a degree in the beginning. And that's where a really good tutor comes in, because they can motivate you and give you the inspiration you need to keep picking it up every day. Keep doing those 20 minutes. So weigh that up. But my final summary on this point is go with your gut and give yourself the best chance. Whatever that costs for you, consider that. Number 6, it takes too long to get good at it. There is some truth to this. It can take a long time to get good, but it depends on what you already have as a preconceived idea as good. If you just want to be able to play a few chords and have a sing around a campfire, it's not going to take you very long to get good. If you want to be able to play some of the hardest solos on earth, it's going to take a while to get that good. You need to build up the strength, dexterity, agility in your hands. You need stamina in your fingers. You need to develop a really good right hand. You need to be able to relax into your picking. It does take quite a bit of time. Having said that, you can cut corners and exponentially get better based on how much time, effort, and knowledge you put into it. The TEK formula again. And a lot of that comes down to your tutor or how good you are naturally at learning, which you can develop through a good tutor as well. And also, obviously, how much time and effort you're willing to put in. Don't be put off by these stories that you hear that all the greatest guitar players on earth went into a cave or a monastery and stayed in there 24 hours a day and came out 7 years later and they were absolutely awesome. There is some truth to that. As an analogy, there's some truth to that. I mean, I remember when I first really started getting serious with the guitar, very early 2000s, I used to play for hours and hours and hours every day. But looking back, I made a ton of mistakes. I played for far too long and it wasn't focused practice. This goes back to the 20 minutes for beginners. If you spend 20 minutes per day as an absolute beginner focusing on the correct things for you, you'll get better significantly quicker than someone spending an hour a day just blundering around like a moth in the dark, playing the wrong things, practicing the wrong things. Because there are specific things you can do that can help you and speed it up. So does it take long to get good? Define what you want from the guitar and maybe add a year or two. But you can significantly reduce how long it would take for you to get to the good level that you have in your mind with time, effort, and knowledge with a good tutor. And the final one is they're not sure how to learn. There's hundreds of people teaching on YouTube, but their ability to transmit that knowledge across a video, it doesn't always come through. They can show you exactly what to do, but not necessarily the intricacies of how to do it, the nuance of it, how to translate that to you that is meaningful to you. But having a great tutor and that connection with them, that rapport, where they can really understand what you want from the instrument, how to give you that, and how good they can communicate that to you, because it's all very well the tutor knowing what to do or the person on YouTube knowing what to do, but they have to be able to put it in a way across to you that you can understand, so you can get the full 100% value from that. And that's something I don't see happening a lot. It's the same with books. Some people could read a book and really, really get to grips with something. Other people can't. They need to be shown. They need to have that human interaction with somebody else who really knows what they're doing. I think it all comes down to how you process information and how well that information is given to you. My advice is get the guitar, find the 20 minutes you need as a beginner, as this video is catered towards beginners, and find a good tutor. That's my 7 main reasons why people stop themselves playing the guitar that I have come into contact with over my time teaching. I hope you enjoyed that. If any of these resonate with you, I hope this has given you some sort of clarity to move forward. And if you are excited or you are thinking of starting your guitar journey, then please come to us here at Harmonix. You can contact us directly. There'll be links down in the description box. You can also go on our Facebook page or our webpage, contact us through there, and we will do everything we can to help you on this journey. And if even one person watches this video and decides that, yep, that's me thinking that, well, I'm glad I don't need to think that anymore, I'm going to give it a go, then I am delighted, and good luck to you. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.